Hey, it's Menz here. Today I'm going to be going over just a quick little video and like a proposal that I think would actually be pretty cool to add into the game. It would kind of fix, a controversial subject, or at least help fix it and be part of, a potential fix for a lot of people who really, really dislike Artie. I know it's a controversial subject, and some people are okay with Artie, some people absolutely hate it, and then there's people in the middle that just want people to basically be quiet about it and play the game. Anyway, so most people know what the stun mechanics in the game are, and also know what a crew skill is, etc., etc. But kind of going over here, what I'm proposing is basically a new anti stun crew skill. So it would work similar to say like concealment, repairs, stuff like that, the firefighting perk, where it would work 100% up to or down to 1%, and kind of as your crew levels up, it'll increase the effect of the skill until it maxes out at 100%. Unlike, say, something like 6 Sense, where you need it to have 100% before it actually kicks in and works. So this would be wargaming, adding in another crew skill for every single one of your crew members to be able to train. So in any event, popping up here, I don't really have a great name for it. There's anti-stun skill. Some people suggest that like recovery, maybe like extra padding, or like battle harden, or something like that, resilience, or so on and so forth. But anyway, so stun mechanics. So on the left side here, you'll see max stun effect without anti-stun skill. So here, pretty much I took the maximum values that stun can do to a tank. There are small little variables on stun, and I'll pop a link in the video description to a really good article about stun. But more or less taking the maximum values here. So when you get hit by an SPG, potentially maximum, you can have a 40% penalty to your track and turret traverse, 30% to your specific power, 25% to both top speed and also view range, 50% to your on the move dispersion, and also your hull and turret dispersion, 50% to your reload, 50% to your aiming time, and 25% to your accuracy. That's a lot. Most people agree when you get hit by an Artie, it hurts. Currently, really the only thing you can do about it is, you can pop a medkit off to get rid of the stun effects. And also a large medkit actually reduces the duration of stun. This skill is only going to apply to the actual effects. You also have spall liners, which also reduce the duration as well. But more or less, when you get hit by an Artie, you're kind of screwed unless you have a medkit. You kind of hide behind cover until it goes away. And part of the problem is, if there's like, say, 2 SPGs shooting at you and stuff, you're going to be stunned a lot because, your medkit isn't always going to be available. So if you look at the other side, on the right side here, you'll have what I'm proposing here for the anti-stun skill. And this is trained up to 100%. Basically, the starting number I kind of did here was if it is 100% trained on like all your crew members, it would reduce basically the stun effect, so the negative effects of stun on your tank, by basically half. So instead of 40%, it would be 20%, so on, so forth. And that's again with all your crew members, plus it trained to 100%, working like repair, camouflage, and stuff, to where you need it basically to be like super effective on all your crews and 100% trained. This does not again affect the duration of stun. I know some people would love that, and the only issue with that is, there's missions requiring stun. Already, as far as stun goes, like there's already, like I mentioned, the medkit and also spall liner that reduces the duration. So adding in a skill to reduce the duration even further would, you're kind of creeping up on then, as far as duration goes, you're axing that too much, so why not apply it to the actual penalty that your tank receives? So more or less 100% trained on all your skills and crews, it would basically cut it in half. So, 50% to your reload instead would be a 25% penalty, so on and so forth. Kind of moving on here. So basically going over to proposal, so everyone's on the same page here. It works like repair, camouflage. It's a crew skill, so you don't need it 100% for it to start kicking in. And the maximum effect is 50% in the reduction of negative effects resulting from stun, not the duration, like a spall liner or large medical kit. So I took a little basically stats and stuff off of my IS-7 here using, this crew and, the setup, so on and so forth. And this is kind of what I got here, just to paint a little bit of an example. So there's a lot of stats here and stuff, but basically you have the left side, which is the base stats without stun applied at all. The center, going the wrong way, is without the anti-stun skill. And then finally, at the very far side, is the anti-stun skill trained up to 100% on all your crew members. So you can see, just taking like little, smidgens and like grabs here, not going over every single thing. Take, for example, your reload time DPM. Your DPM, basically, at least my IS-7, is 2,600. If you get hit by an arty and you have that maximum effect applied to your tank, your DPM basically drops to 1,733. It's a pretty big drop. And then with this anti-stun skill, instead of losing that much, almost 1,000, so about 900 DPM, your DPM then drops down to 2,080. So it's still a drop, but I feel like I've proposed this a couple times on my live stream recently to gauge people's reactions, which I call on everybody here. Pop on your comments on YouTube here. Let us know what you think, whether you're for, against it, have any suggestions, and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm making this video, is I think it's a pretty interesting idea. I haven't really seen thrown out there very much. But, I feel like even though you're still getting stunned and, yeah, it sucks. You got hit by arty, you lose some stats and stuff for, say, 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever it is. Really, you only have spall liners and also medkits, premium medkits at your disposal right now to kind of negate that effect. Why not add in a crew skill, so people can basically train if they really, really hate being stunned. Like, I personally say for like heavy tanks, like right now, obviously you have like Brothers in Arms, Sixth Sense, like different stats, like situational awareness, smooth ride, so on and so forth, and repair. Instead of like tacking on, like sometimes when you have a, like if you take my IS-7 here, you can see like a few people actually have like camouflage and stuff, because I've started running out of skills. I would start taking this thing, or this anti-stun skill, instead to further, make my heavy tank a little beefed up against arty. Same thing with like some medium tanks, and if you really hate it in lights, getting like splashed and stunned, where I feel like it would create a little bit more options for people to be able to, kind of use some crew skills, and hopefully wargaming at a later date kind of works on the crew skill system itself, makes it like a little bit easier, I guess, to grind stuff out, and so on and so forth. That's a different topic. But in any event, feel free to pop a comment into YouTube here. I think this would be pretty nice, to where it's not really neutering things. So I wanted to make it to where initially, like, say if it reduced the duration by, I don't know, instead of halving it, say it would only do like 25% at maximum level. The only issue with that is then I start thinking like, okay, so this is, for people that really hate arty, you're probably going to start turning red here and a little bit of steam comes out. But, they already nerfed arty as far as like damage potential goes. Yes, occasionally it still does a crap ton of damage if it pens you and you have basically a lightly armored tank. But it already does pretty crappy damage relative to its tier. So I guess let's do this for a second. So we're just going to stick at tier 10 here. So you have 2600 DPM on this IS-7, T92, clicking over here, your DPM's already 1970. And good luck getting your full DPM out of, you know, an SPG every single shot. And like going down the line, DPM here, a little bit less than 1900 on the M53. Let's just pop over to a tier 9 heavy, let's say the T10, you got 2500. So your DPMs are already pretty crappy on Artie. You know, they hit that with the nerf bat a while ago. And, you know, they added in stun. Whether that was a good decision, bad decision, it's in the game now. And, you know, trying to find a way for both sides to kind of come to like a compromise. People that like Artie, hate Artie. So if you start taking the duration away, Artie, you know, is going to get less assist damage as when it comes to stun, which is a big thing of like earning experience and credits with Artie right now. And a lot of missions designed around it actually have stun like duration in those missions. So Wargaming would have to switch a lot of things. It would neuter Artie as far as like the experience gain and the credits. Whereas if you just apply basically less of a penalty to a tank with this anti-stun skill, it would literally not do anything to SPG players at all. However, it would basically negate the negative and like frustration that people get from getting hit by Artie and stunned. It would help those situations out by them, but it would not affect Artie at all as far as, you know, the actual like credits, experience, and effectiveness. Albeit, yes, you know, enemy tanks being stunned still have a higher fighting capacity, so, you know, Artie's a little less effective, but I feel like it's a decent little common ground, more or less. But anyway, don't want to make this too long, so feel free to pop some comments in, you know, the YouTube comment section here. Feel free to share this so we can get a lot of people's basic input here, because I kind of looked around and I'm sure somebody out here has thought of this before me. Like, you know, I'm not a rocket science here. Like, come on, I have a helmet on. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested to see what everybody thinks here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully on my live stream one of these nights over on Twitch. Have a very nice night. See you around.